Now, for every interview you are going through, you always have to ask yourself these three questions. These three questions, they are the things that will separate you from the other available candidates, the other qualified candidates. Number one, what is your selling point? Number two, how do you communicate those selling points throughout your interviews? And number three, what can you do or say that will make the interviewer, that will make your interview session stick to the minds of the interviewers? In another way, what can you do that would make the interviewers remember you even after the interview? Are you with me?
Yes.
What can you do that would make you stick to the mind of the interviewers so that after your interview, they can always make reference to you? So we're going to solve this one after the other, or we're going to look at this together. So let's look at your selling points. It's important for you to note that some of your selling points going into this interview is that, one, you studied petroleum engineering, right? And you want to work in NNPC. NNPC
Yes,
is a gas company. You study petroleum engineering. This is your first selling point. Two, you are a member of SPE. Is that not correct?
yes.
You're a member of SPE. So that is another selling point you have. Number three, you've done IT internship at NNPC. Is that not correct?
Yes, it's correct.
So these three things, what's your CGPA? Are you a first class? Are you a first class?
No, 2-1, 4.03.
4.0 GPA. Are you seeing your selling points? I'm outlining your selling points for you now, so you know them. Next, you currently work in the oil and gas sector, right? You work with LMA, you work with Indorama Petrochemicals.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, these things are your selling points. The next question is now, how do I communicate these selling points throughout my interview? But before we move to that, can you think of any other selling points you have aside this one?
No, I would have mentioned a skill, but it's in view. So,
What skill is that?
I currently do some courses on data analytics using Excel and SQL.
So
But
these are your
that's still
basic,
basic.
right? Basic knowledge, right? So here are your selling points. The next question is now, how can you communicate these selling points throughout your interviews? Number one, you can infuse them one after the other during your interview. Right? How can you infuse them during your interview when you are asked to introduce yourself? You can infuse them in your way. That question, tell us about yourself, or can we meet you? You can infuse some of this your selling point in this question. Another way you can do that is to infuse them in questions, other questions you ask. So other questions that you are asked, you can infuse them. How can you infuse them in other questions you ask? For instance, when they ask you a question to give, to answer something, you can say something like, based on my previous experience as an intern at NNPC. Do you understand? They did not ask you whether you've done it, but you say, based on my previous internship at NNPC, I faced so experience, or I did so and so thing. With that, they will not say you've done, and you've done well. They will see it on your CV, but it's good to remind them and drag their attention to, like, I know a bit of the process here. I have been able to survive 6 months here or 4 months here. Do you understand? Based on my association or my membership with SPE, in a previous experience volunteering for SPE, do you understand? You rub it on their face, if that's it. You get, don't be scared, don't be scared. Based on my current experience working at Indorama Petrochemicals, do you understand? Bring these things up. Bring these things up. They are your selling points. And aside them helping you scale along, it also helps you show that you can make reference to the right things. It also shows them that you have the right background in the right places. You understand, and that and you're not just answering question based off your suggestion. You're answering question because you can observe processes, and you're using those processes now to tackle questions that you're being asked. So that is how you can communicate these selling points throughout your interview. Then the next thing is, what can you do that will make your interview session to stick to the minds of your interviewers? The things you can do to help interviewers remember you even after the interview is the way you were able to communicate these selling points. Do you understand? Because sometimes they will not remember your name, but they will say, that girl that has done internship here before, that one year that also works at Indorama Petrochemicals. Why? Because you've been able to find a way to connect all of these things together. So going into this interview, always remember and ask yourself, what are my selling points? How do I communicate those selling points throughout my interview? And what can I do or say that will make my interview session stick to the minds of the interviewers? Then you can build up answers. You can answer this question, then build up answers according to them. Now, that said, we can go to the other parts.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, do take care.
All right, you too. Bye.